Holla ballers! I assume you can hear that. I was being trolled in my chat by these wonderful viewers who were answering my questions while claiming they have no sound. Phone call right as the show starts. You know what's funny? Is you tell your fiance that at 5 PM every day you will be doing a live show in front of an audience and stuff like that. So at 1 minute past 5, she calls you. Isn't that the best thing ever? Isn't that why we have fiancés? So they control us in such manners. Welcome and a brofist to you guys to today's Daily Preach. It is, of course, absolutely red hot today. Really hot. And there's no video up on the YouTube channel yet. There will be later. It's coming up in about an hour or so. It was a long day of editing and a long day of actually playing. A little fun fact, today I had sort of like 40 minutes before the Daily Preach started, so I wondered what I could do. And I was considering leveling a warrior on Twisting Nether for method to save me transferring my warrior away from Sylvanas. So I thought, what the hell, I'll just do a couple of dungeons or something like that, something really quick. So I queued up and I went into Scholomance, the 5-man Scholomance. It is the best dungeon I have done in so long. I mean, it is really, really good. The way they've reworked that dungeon to allow everybody to see every single boss they put in there. That shit has like 12 bosses. And they give you a quest for each of them. You get almost 2 levels worth of XP. And it's a great journey all the way through the dungeon. You're going into every single room, you're going out on the balconies. These were all bosses that were really big outside quests to unlock, and they've given you them all. Really well done, Blizz, for that. I thought that was fucking fantastic. On with the show. As you can see behind me, we have changed up the background a little bit. Yesterday it was, of course, naked pictures of me and Ghost. What I've decided to do is stick your pictures up there. These are the brofists you guys sent me. These are the 3 I've had today. Particular attention to this one here. That is the first brofist from Afghanistan. That is fucking amazing. I'll be telling a little story about that at the web shop. So fucking cool. This guy, total baller, watches the videos in Afghanistan while he's on deployment with the US military. So fucking boom to you, buddy. Yeah, fucking brofist to you, man, because that shit is fucking awesome. Really made my day. Sent me a big letter. That's the shit I'm talking about right there. That's fucking cool. Let's crack on with it. Gaming news. Not a lot of gaming news today, actually. I was really disappointed. I browsed absolutely everywhere for some sort of useful information to give you guys, and there just fucking wasn't any. It was a really quiet gaming news day, really. The only big news, I suppose, is Dark Souls is coming on the PC after much anger that it was console-based and the PC gamers felt left out because it was such a difficult game. It was a difficult game in an easy game world. We're in an easy game world right now, and Dark Souls was a really hard game. And it's coming out. You guys asked for it, so they said, okay, if you guys really want it, we're going to make it. And it's important that the guys who did ask for that and petition for it to come out buy that game. Otherwise, they won't do that kind of stuff again. If everybody complains and says, we want it for PC, we want it for PC, and then doesn't buy it when they actually respond to the community, really important that you guys actually go out and buy that. I think that's pretty cool. So yeah, if you send me in a picture or a brofist or something like that, you will appear on the Daily Preach. There's only 3 up there. I want to do at least 4 a day, realistically. I just did this last minute. The guys who were watching the live stream saw me edit it and stuff like that. So that's what that's all about. That's pretty cool. Let's jump to some questions, considering it was relatively quiet. Do you want to do today's daily comment? You guys want to see today's daily comment? You know the trolls be slacking? The trolls be slacking, man. There was no really awful comment today. There wasn't any. I had to go back to yesterday for the awful comment. It was... This guy is fucking shit. Spelt wrong. And used by Crazy. Crazy174. Dude, what? This guy is fucking shit. F-U-K-N. Word, yo. Down with the peeps. Keeping it fucking street legal. I love it. Why are these guys, all the internet trolls have the same wacky names? What was it yesterday? Anarchy Rules 2500. This guy is Crazy174. Fuck yeah. I'm so gangster it hurts. Fuck me, dude. If you're gonna troll, at least come up with a trollish name. Being crazy in your naze isn't that crazy at all. It's really just not that crazy. And being the Anarchy Rules, man, that shit's fucking terrible as well. So whatever, dude. But I had to go back to yesterday. I get about 150 to 180 comments, videos commented a day. And there was none today, not one bad comment. So that came from yesterday, which was pretty cool. So thank you for that, Crazy. You guys are fucking mental, mate. You are nuts about caramel. Really crazy. Okay, so on today's Daily Preach video, this is where you guys seem to be posting most of your questions. I have no problem with that. I like reading the comments. The big question was in relation to something we spoke about with Diablo 3, which is, do you think we should take the day off when Mr. Pandaria comes? Should we be there for the midnight launch? Should we be there for the big event, the big fucking let's go for it and all that kind of stuff? Honestly, no. Don't be there. Don't be there because it all goes horrifically wrong at the launch of one of these things. It's not too bad with World of Warcraft. The game is unlikely to crash. The game is... you're not going to see Error 37. That's what I want to say. You're not going to see Error 37 anywhere. That's not going to happen. What does happen is this entire Royal Rumble, this Vince McMahon-inspired rage, where everybody thunderfucks into the same area, just like, boom, and they all start trying to level and do stuff together, and within about 30 minutes, you want to slit your throat. The big thing is, dungeons are terrible leveling. The dungeons are really bad. So, although when Cataclysm launched, you had the option to go to Blackrock... It's not Depths, is it? You know, the first Blackrock Caverns? I want to say Blackrock Caverns. I'm going to go with Blackrock Caverns. I could be fucking wrong on that. I'm sure someone in the chat's going to go, preach it was Blackrock Cocoons or some shit and troll me. But you had the option to go in there and get a couple of levels really, really quickly, which separated people out. Some people moved to the instance service, all that kind of stuff. It's not the same with Mr. Pandaria. The Temple of the Jade Serpent and the Stormstout Brewery are fine XP when you do the quests, kind of, but they're really not a leveling option. I don't think so either. I really don't. Some people will be like, I'm going to dungeon level and be away from everybody else. Go ahead. It's going to be slower. It is going to be slower, unless you have some sort of trick or something like that. Everybody seems to be looking for tricks. I got sent so many emails of people who found areas around Mr. Pandaria. Even in the guild, in the method, there were some guys who were like, ha, I found a spot with constantly respawning mobs that I can get 20 billion XP an hour because they're bugged and keep respawning. And oh, lol, Blizzard fixed them. It's going to be pretty straight up in Mr. Pandaria. Now, don't take the day off unless you have a thriving need. If you're in a guild that needs to raid ASAP, so I will be there. I will be there because I need to level and cap ASAP. And plus, you know, I want to stream it for you guys and have all that good stuff. So, yeah, for people like me, I need to be there. If you don't need to be there, don't do it. If you want to make a lot of gold... If you want to make a lot of gold, log in, but stay near the auction house and have yourself a whale of a time and re-rolling in the gold. You're going to be like Scrooge McDuck. You're going to be Scrooge McDuck and diving in your gold coins if you stay by the auction house. The real money winners, the money makers, never level in the first weeks. They just stay by the auction house and they just flip stuff and rotate stuff and they put stuff like glyphs and gems and all that kind of shit up there. You'll find so many people who get a new item and go back to Orgrimmar to enchant it, even though they might possibly replace it in 25 minutes because they don't know how it works. So if I were you, unless you have a burning need to level, don't take at least 3 or 4 days until it just starts to taper off a little bit, because you're going to have this weird 24-hour, 48-hour period where people are working so they can't do it late. And then they'll get home and then they'll be playing really late into the hours and then going to sleep and stuff like that. And you're going to have the hardcore levelers who will pile through. They're not your biggest danger. It's not the hardcore levelers because they will be capped by the morning. I'm pretty sure most of us who are going to go turbo nerding it will in fact capped by pretty much the next, late into the next day. Less than 24 hours at least. It's the big major player base, the big casual player base. They're just going to hammer the area. They're really going to hammer it. They're going to take days off school. They're going to take days off work. And they're just going to be mulling around. There'll be ganking going on because that's fun, isn't it? It's hilarious to gank all the levelers. You know, the hardcore PvPers. People like Anarchy Rules and Crazy in your Naze. They're going to be getting Crazy in your Naze up in your Anus all the way through your leveling experience. And they're all going to be running around there. There'll be a ton of rogues in stealth, gangstering you, doing all this kind of crazy stuff. So don't bother. If you can avoid it, stay in Orgrimmar, stay in Stormwind, play the auction house, make yourself thousands and thousands of gold, or just wait a few days, or log in and level and do whatever you please. Log in, do a couple of dungeons, do anything like that, and go and check out the leveling areas. If it's quiet, go ahead and play. But in general, I would try and avoid it. The servers won't be too unstable, but there will be millions of people just plowing through the content. Really going to get on your nerves. A little reminder, if you've got questions for me, keep posting them here in the chat, and I will reply to them towards the end of the show. It's not a big show today. We have another question, which was pretty cool as well. This one came in by email. Hi. Hi. You know when I told you that I was doing a show every day at 5 PM? Why do you ring me at 1 minute past 5? I forgot. Why don't you tell the audience?
I forgot.
You forgot? Get on the camera and tell me something. What are you telling them? You don't want to tell them? Why are you naked?
I'm not naked.
Why are you covered in cream?
I'm not covered in cream.
Right, go away.
Okay, I need to find magnets.
Okay, you go find some magnets. Okay, so the question came in by email, which was very cool indeed. It came in from Tommy. It's an interesting situation that comes up a hell of a lot. Preach, I'm struggling for threat in my 25-man guild raids, but I can't get threat quick enough off our other guild tank. I can't record it because I lag too much, which is fair enough. I've put a link to my armory, really doesn't help me. I was wondering what you could do to get threat quicker, and the other tank is a paladin and he has 25k threat per second, and I have 27k, so the druid has more threat per second. But I do sometimes lose threat on Ultraxion and Morchok. It was interesting when you sent me this email. Usually I reply saying, dude, I really need to see you play. In order to answer this email, I really do, you know, I need to see you play. I need to understand what the hell's going wrong. But then you pointed out that you're tracking your threat per second, and you have higher threat per second, so that obviously raises some questions. And then particularly you mentioned Ultraxion and Morchok, which are tank swap fights. You are not doing anything wrong, okay? And it's annoying you because you feel like you're doing something wrong. You're not doing anything wrong. Your paladin is doing something wrong. Your paladin is being a twat. Your paladin is being the worst of the worst annoying off-tanks in the world. A tank team is... Really?
What's going in?
The tank team is... I'm supposed to do a show. What's going on? Fuck me. Welcome to the third Daily Preach, trolled by Emma. Low tech support indeed. Let's get back on topic. So, yeah, your paladin is being the worst of the worst of a team player. Tanking is a team player organization. It really is. And a good tank team is the backbone of any solid guild. I should know, I was a part of a tank team that was just perfection. We never needed to speak. We could pick up different mobs in all directions because we just knew how each other play. We set a rule maybe 2 years ago that said something along the lines of, I will always get the mobs that come on the left. For every raid instance after that, I always got the mobs on the left, he always got the mobs on the right. And from that, we could chain through a dungeon so fast, with zero downtime, with healers at full mana all the time. It was a beautiful thing. It really is. And for a nerd like me who's so into World of Warcraft, to have that kind of relationship going on in-game was... Oh, it was like the best bacon double cheeseburger you've ever seen. It was just creamy good. What's happening is Vengeance. Vengeance is in the game. Vengeance is bullshit. I hate Vengeance. I really do hate it. But it's in the game and it helps people tank. There's no doubt about that. So what's happening is you're trying to taunt off your tank who has outrageous Vengeance and you have no Vengeance. And what happens is your prop paladin doesn't need to be hit to respond. He doesn't need rage like you do. He has all his abilities available. Your prop paladin friend is likely, I'm guessing here, but this sounds the most likely coming from Ultraxion and Morchok. Your prop paladin friend is chaining and continuing his standard rotation after you have taunted off. There is no way in hell, without superior cooldowns or anything like that, that you can out-aggro him, because he's going to pull away and pop a 150k Shield of Righteous while your Mangle hits for 30-40k. It's just not going to happen. He's going to do 3 or 4 times more threat than you for a few seconds. After you get your Vengeance up, you'll be fine and dandy. But your Paladin is likely to just be smashing that mob to pieces. Oh, this guy taunted. I don't care. And continue to wail away on the mob with high Vengeance. With really high stack Vengeance and doing all sorts of crazy damage. That's how prop Paladins work. What he should be doing, if he was a baller, is he should just be throwing a Hand of Salvation on himself. That's what I used to do when I was tanking on my prop paladin and we were doing tank swaps, and DPS was key. I think of a boss like Festagut in ICC. DPS was so key because that boss was tuned very, very tightly, but it needed tank swaps. If I was on my warrior, what I'd do is I'd simply swap stances for a second. I would drop out a defensive stance, lose my threat modifier, and then continue away, swap back after the other tank's got Vengeance or whatever, and be continuously firing away. On a prop paladin, I'd just throw Hand of Salvation on myself. I'm not going to pull aggro for the next few seconds, and I can continue to tunnel damage into the boss. So I just want to say, if you're in this situation and you're a tank, don't worry about it. Really do not worry about it. It's not your problem, it's the other tank. You need to speak to him and say, hey, dude, do you know how Vengeance works? Because what you're doing is actually really frustrating me. It makes me look like a bad tank. Because people who are DPSers have no clue in general how tanking works. Neither do healers. They don't give a shit. They don't care. They're not bothered. And they shouldn't have to. If you're a pure DPSer, you shouldn't have to care how tanking works. But what they will notice is the Druid lost aggro again. Or the Paladin being smug, like most people are who don't realise why they're causing problems, or even worse, they realise why they're causing problems, will start going, this tank's shit, he can't hold aggro. Such a common thing to happen, especially in mid-level guilds, is this guy sucks, he isn't holding aggro, while he continues to wail away with max vengeance, pulling threat all the time. Ah, dude, that's the worst, because your comeback is, if you don't know, if you're like in this saying, well, yeah, I am losing aggro all the time, what the hell am I supposed to do? I've had this happen where some guy's like, oh, dude, you can't hold aggro. I'm like, dude, you're firing with full fucking vengeance, you massive retard. Why don't you take a huge dildo, shove it up your ass, and then fuck off home? And then they'll shut the fuck up. Do you understand what I'm saying? Then they'll shut up. But you need to have that information in mind. So the next time this happens, just weigh up what the hell's happening. Because you need to go, dude, stop doing it. Put a salvation on yourself. And I guarantee you this guy hasn't got salvation bound. That's the first thing to do. Let's take some questions from the... No, everybody has vengeance, but you need to get hit to get vengeance, okay? It's based on damage you take. So if you are just idly on the side, let's say I'm tanking a mob, okay? I've got a shield up, I'm doing all my good stuff. And then he taunts, I've got all the vengeance, he's got no vengeance. In a few seconds, he will have vengeance, and I will lose my vengeance. That's how vengeance works. Vengeance works for taking some damage. I want some ice for that burn bra. Not really. Oh, right, I see. No, you don't need to turn off Righteous Fury. There's no point, because that's more annoying. For the global cooldown you're going to spend turning off Righteous Fury and reactivating it, you might as well throw a Hand of Salvation on yourself. When do we use Hand of Salvation these days? Never. It's not an issue, is it? With Vengeance, threat is just a total non-issue. So don't need to switch off Righteous Fury or anything like that. Throw a Salvation on yourself. By the time that Salvation wears off, you're going to be fine. Even if you glyph it, I think if you glyph... Oh, well, you haven't really got room for the glyph. Just throw a Hand of Salvation on yourself. It's there, it's sat doing nothing, and it does exactly what it needs to do. It's perfect. Hand of Sal sucks, though. Well, not for not taking threat back off the other guy. It works just fine for that. It works just fine for that. Can you give any hints about the game show will go down on Saturday's web show? Well, not to you, because you're in it. But I will say that most of my day today was spent planning the questions with me and Ghost. Me and Ghost have got a night together tomorrow. I have a funeral tomorrow, so there might not be a video tomorrow. I have to go to a funeral. You guys who follow Facebook and stuff like that will all know about that. I have to go to a funeral tomorrow, and then in the evening I'm going to be with Ghost, where we're preparing everything for the game show. And we've got a lot in mind. How much we can pull off in show number 1, that's the big question. That is the big question. Preach, what would be a good response to be with people who don't say you have enough endgame experience on a guild application, even if you know you're more than capable of fulfilling the role and able to raid endgame? This is a good question, because you can't get experience if you can't get experience. You can't go back and kill Jaden when he was supposed to be killed. You can't go back and kill the Lich King when he was supposed to be killed. You can't go back and kill Kel'Thuzad. You can't get that experience. It's really frustrating. I understand that. What you need to do is prove that you're a good player. And the only way that is generally accepted of doing that is World of Logs. It really is. Now, the reason it's World of Logs is there is genuinely no excuse for not having a World of Logs report. Most guilds will instantly decline you if you say you haven't got a World of Logs report, because you can do it yourself. And if you were serious about your application, then you would have a World of Logs report. It's simple as that, because only you need to set it up. There's nobody else involved. Just you need to set it up. So the fact that you say, oh, well, I haven't got... My guild doesn't run a World of Logs report, that's not a reason. It really is not a reason. The way to get around the experience issue is you say, look, you admit to it first of all. One of the big things I can tell you about applications, this applies to applications for jobs and stuff in real life as well. Getting all serious on you for a minute. Whoa, back up, fucking serious, preach on. Russ Emerald mode. If you're doing applications and stuff for anything, it could be for a guild, it could be for a job, it could be for a school, is you do a little trick called accentuate the positives, hide the negatives. When I say hide the negatives, that doesn't mean don't mention them, because somebody will bring it up. Because some people love reading applications. Out of a guild of 50 people, there will be at least one person who will read every fucking line of your application in detail, and then they will check your armory, they will check your alts, they will check everything you said in that, and then they will go into other realms and they will talk to people about you. It happens a lot. I've experienced it. People come and talk to me about people when I was in running Kill Count Lost, and we lost members. People logged onto our server to ask me about ex-members, and I always told the truth. They never got in the guilds. So what I'm saying to you is you hide the negatives. You say something along the lines of, I'm aware I don't have much endgame experience. You've brought it up, you've brought up the subject, and you've smashed it already. You've done it. You've dealt with it. And it's one line. It's so small compared to the rest of this wonderfully glowing application. You start it early, so the next information actually makes them forget about it. It's it's sort of a mind game thing, but it works. It really does. You point out your negatives. You're aware you haven't got much experience. That's okay. Bring it up first. I'm aware I don't have much endgame experience from past expansions. Unfortunately, I didn't play them. However, and then we go into the good stuff. You say, I've really dedicated my time into learning my class. As you can see from certain reforges I've aimed, it's always good if there's something tricky about your class. This really helps. You go to a site like Elitist Jerks, which is, mega math guys, who are always generally doing a pretty good job, and you said, look, I've gone towards the haste thing, because it's theoretically more DPS at the moment, and I believe I can get something out of that. People will go, wow, I never do that with my character. Outdo everybody in the guild. The thing about trialing in a guild in World of Warcraft is you have to generally play better than their members. Okay? You have to play better than their members. Now, sometimes we all have mistakes. I'll give you an example. Last night in Method was actually one of my worst raids ever. I mean, really bad. I was atrocious yesterday in terms of luck. I want to say luck, but not all luck. Let me give you an example. On Marchok, I was going for double DPS because it does 60, 70k DPS. Something crazy like that. But unfortunately, it got pulled too far apart. So I spent the rest of the time just DPSing one boss as Affliction, which single target Affliction isn't that great, really. Especially with a lot of moving around and stuff like that. So my DPS wasn't great on Marchok, so I was already like, ugh. But the tanks just moved the bosses too far apart. So at one point I was stood in the middle, then I had to go and soak because we had little members and stuff like that, and so that was generally shitty. On your Sarge, no, not your Sarge, Warlords on Us, I was stood in the pack of range with everybody. I had loads of people around me where we absorbed the ball. I died. I took the same damage as everybody else. I was stood on everybody else, where all the AoE healing should take place, and suddenly I was on the ground dead. I was the only one who died. I wasn't stood out of it. I know people think, no, you must have been stood out of the pack and absorbed all the ball. No, I swear to you, I was stood in the middle of the pack and I died. It almost felt like I was being trolled, but I don't think so. On Ultraxion, at least 8 members died, which finds it hard to believe, but we had 6 buyers. 6 buyers, so there was 19 of us carrying 6 people who didn't know anything about the instance, and they all died, and people were laughing about it on Vent. They were like, oh my god, blah blah blah, they died to Fading Light, all this kind of stuff, and then they didn't realise that they had Fading Light and they died, so we wiped, we lost so many members. We were still on target, but eventually it just fell to chaos. We came back and literally nobody died except the buyers till about 10%. It was also one of the hottest days of the year in the UK, and I'd done some really heavy stuff on my computer during the day, and my PC crashed, at 10%, and I died. It was so fucking retarded. And then on Spine, no, what do I want to say? I think I crashed again on Madness. My PC was just overheating to fuck. It was meltdown time. So yeah, I had the worst raid ever. But people will comment on me having that happen. Died on Ultraxion. Although 8 members died, they won't get anything said, but on my trial thread it was died on Ultraxion. Although I couldn't have helped it at DC, but DCing still fail, obviously. And I was talking to other people throughout the raid with DCing as well. It wasn't a particularly great night for connections all around. But as a trial, you are judged so much more than members. Once you get that accepted key, you can almost get away with anything you want as long as you're not a huge arsehole. And trials will be held on this pedestal. They must play perfectly. And you have to accept that. That is the way of the world. That is the way it works. That is not my rule. That is just how it happens. So your application should be golden. You should have World of Logs showing you destroying and using all your abilities. Things like Solar Beam. If you're a Moon King, you should be using things like Solar Beam. You should be Typhoon at the right time. You should be bringing it up. You can see at this fight that I did this and this. And you should be kicking ass. Now, the good thing about this is you can, if your guild doesn't run World of Logs, is you can make a really good World of Logs when you had a really good raid. There's no rush to applying to a guild. Pretty cool. Next question. Breacher, how do you believe the future of MMOs will be? With Guild Wars 2 coming out, the entire gaming population say it will kill WoW. Don't they always? Yeah, I've heard it all before with the past 5 big launch MMOs. Yeah, we talked about this a little bit yesterday. I'll believe it when I see it. I don't mind if WoW dies. I really don't. I really don't. I'll be happy to enjoy something that takes me away from WoW. If there's something good enough coming that pulls me away from WoW and allows me to explore and to realize new things for the first time in a very long time, and to experience brand new things that are so good that they turn me away from WoW, more than happy to do it. More than happy. I'll drop WoW like that. If there's some game coming, I don't believe it's Guild Wars 2. I really don't. If there's some game coming that is so fresh, that will give me the feeling that I had the first time I approached Stormwind, the first time Ragnaros came out of there. And I'm not talking about those events. That's not the point. It's that feeling of, wow, this is awesome. That feeling, I'm gone. Fucking love it. Oh, Brofist from New Zealand to you as well, buddy. Any advice for a guy wanting to leave his current guild to join a bigger guild for the new expansion, but wanting to retain the relationship with the guild and not be hated for ditching? You tell them about it. It's very, very easy. And genuinely, you need to have a realistic reason for doing it. Now, that doesn't mean it has to be some sort of golden reason. That doesn't need to be some, you know, almighty, wow, that's a really good reason. It doesn't need to be something like that. Let's say, are you in a 10-man guild or a 25-man guild? That's the question I put to you. Are you in a 10-man looking to go 25? You can quite easily say, look, guys, I've been thinking about it for a while, and I want to try 25-man raiding. I'm really happy with the guild. Things are fine, but I want to try 25-man raiding, so I'm going to be looking for another guild. Nobody will give you shit from that besides arseholes. And who gives a fuck what arseholes think? You know what I mean? Like, if an arsehole tells me there's a problem, I don't care. Can you go away? Please? Okay. Go away. Right, we've got 5 minutes. Puppy class reminder. Puppy class alarm. Yeah. Have a good reason. If your reason is because you want to leave to get more loot, that isn't a good reason. You know, that's not a good reason. That's never going to get you where you want to be. But it can be any logical reason ever. You want to try further progression, you feel like you're ready for further progression, or you feel like you want to dedicate more time to the game, that's fine as well. If you're in a casual, raids a couple of weeks, a couple of days a week, go away. Okay, last question. Last question before I go to puppy class. Puppy class is important. Okay, well, let's finish on this question then, because it's a cool question, because I assume there's a lot of people who are always thinking about leaving guilds. I asked you, why do you want to leave? Be honest. Your name is hidden. You're in a 25-man hard mode guild wanting to go to another 25-man hard mode guild. Is it just a better guild? Do you feel like you're better than them? Can I put up a guide for World of Logs? Ooh, that's a good idea. Yeah, I'll do a video on that. No problem at all. I'm just waiting for Oxel to answer. What are your thoughts on the Elder Scrolls MMO? I did a video on it. It's going to be nothing like Elder Scrolls. It could be called anything. It won't be anything like Skyrim or Oblivion. Couldn't remember the name of it then. It won't be anything like that at all. It's been made by a different studio entirely, actually. The new guild is World 60th or so. My old one is World 100th, and I want to go further. Okay, so it's simple. You want to dedicate more time. You want harder progression. You want to push harder than what you feel your guild is offering, so you are going to look for another guild. And you make them fully aware. People hate people who just leave. And just, how many times, you've probably seen this a lot. Suddenly in your guild chat, you'll be leveling. You'll be doing some BGs, and suddenly some guy goes, sorry guys, found a different guild, I'm leaving now, G quits. And everybody just thinks you're an asshole, and you are an asshole for doing that. People who do that are such wimps, man. It's an anonymous game. Get over it. Do you know what I mean? Do you think people are going to come phoning your house? No. Do you know, I think people are going to send you these hate mails. People who do that are the people who get stalked on the Armory. Tell people where you're going. If you're a good guy and a good player, tell people where you're going. Say, hey guys, I'm going to go play in there. Add me to Real ID. If you've got good friends, say, you know, I'm leaving, so do you want to get on Real ID? You remember in Mr. Pandera, you can level together, you can do all sorts of stuff together. Most of the people I play with are not in Method at all. I play with people on Real ID all the time. All the time. Okay, I'm going to go now, guys, because I've got puppy class. I will film it for you for the real live show. You guys love seeing Ben in puppy class. So I'm going to go now, guys. I will see you tomorrow for Friday's Daily Preach, the Friday one, and then I hope to see you. Send me some brofists, and I'll get your picture up behind me. And the game show is on Saturday, 8 PM. So please attend, guys. We'll have some good fun. All right? I'll see you tomorrow.